This tutorial in this series, we're going to continue on generative AI, and we're going to take a look at the Mistral version 0.3 model. Before we begin, quick reminder that I have a live stream every single day. You visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, live sub menu, you can see the title for this live stream is called Review Generative AI Mistral version 0.3 model. The channel it's going to be on, and the day and time. And then you can see the topics for post-dated topics for future live streams. Each of those articles, there will be a snippet at the top of beginning of each article to tell you the exact day, the time. It's always going to be Eastern time, and you're free to ask any programming or lifestyle related topics. And the channel to exact link, you click on this link here, and you go there, you log in, and you'll be able to live chat and have any requests as well. If you don't want to do that, you can just watch the video. Also below, you can also watch the embedded video right on the website. Okay, so Mistral, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, leave comments for more frequent content. Thank you. And I also appreciate everybody who has subscribed this month. Thanks very much. All right, so Mistral, it's obviously artificial intelligence, and it was actually released in September of 2023 by the French AI startup Mistral. This has a 7.3 billion parameter language model, and I was very shocked with it, because if you remember, in the past two tutorials or reviews I've done, I've actually gotten bigger parameter models, and they were a big disappointment. They were even worse than the smaller ones. So that's why I went back to one of the smaller ones, and this one is a 7B, and I was really surprised. You will see the results. Not only is it fast, it actually produced probably some of the most accurate results to date. Yeah, it's that good. Okay, so as you can see here, it actually outperforms the 13B parameter Llama 2 model. That doesn't surprise me, because I said this is probably one of the best ones so far as well, the Llama 2. And so this is 7B. It's actually smaller, but still it's very efficient. I like that. So you can read up on this, the group query attention and the sliding window attention. So for example, this one enables the model to handle longer sequences of text without significant use in computation cost. That's very, very good. Most of my requests are very, very small. It's just one sentence each, but if I wanted to be more elaborate, I should be able to do that. And then this one, the grouped query attention, or GQA, that allows the model to process information more efficiently, leading to faster response times. That's all pretty good. Obviously, it's open source as well. It's released under the Apache 2 license. That means it can be freely used, modified, and distributed. So remember, the Apache 2 license is it's a permissive license. Okay, now obviously you can do some, isn't just one size fits all. It can be fine-tuned to specialize in various applications. So I didn't have time to show you guys how you can actually train the models yourself. I think I might do that in a future tutorial. I'm trying to keep these tutorials short and very simple for beginners, because there are a lot of people who actually enjoy this. So what I'll do is I might take a small model, maybe something smaller than this one, download it, and then I'll show you guys how to actually use Python to to train it on your own. So for example, like me, I'm a programmer. I could, for example, take this particular one or something smaller and just program it for programming stuff like script writing. As you guys know, I do quite a lot of Blender stuff, especially Blender Python things. So I would love to have an AI specifically just fine-tuned to that, so I can request something and it does it, especially for what I want, my own needs. That'll be actually pretty nice. So I'll show you guys in a future tutorial for that. For example, you see what you can do with this one. You can do customer support. I dislike this in AIs because they don't understand human interaction. And then there's content generation. So this one will be pretty easy. I could actually see this one doing something like this, and code assistance, as I just explained. And I took some screenshots of it, of some of the answers. As I said, I was actually pretty impressed with some of the answers it gave. And obviously the PHP one, it did it very, very well. Short right to the point. That's one thing I liked about this one. It doesn't go out of its way to make up things on the fly. It actually just answers the question, and that's it. That's exactly what I liked about this one. Now, it came very, very, very close to actually passing the Kotlin code snippet. It just missed some things. Unfortunately, I had to fail it, but the code looked really, really well, and you will see when we actually run this. And of course, as I promised, this is the video of the screencast, which is this one live. If you press it, you can actually see. Okay, so sorry about that. It came very, okay, so I don't know if you guys heard that, but it went through my headset. Okay, so these are the results. As you see, I asked it who the mayor of Toronto is. I asked it who some PHP code snippet. I asked it for a screenshot of the GNOME desktop. I asked it for the Kotlin code, and I asked it for a Blender blend file. So it took about roughly 3 minutes to answer all these questions, and the skill level I said is just beginner. So as I said, in this tutorial, I am not actually installing it and using Python. I'm using a program called Alpaca. That one actually downloads the AI models for you, and it just gives you an interface where you can interact with them. It's text based. So if you do want this installed on your own server or even locally and have a Python or your own Python based application, you can contact me. I do have somebody now helping me with the Jumbo services. So there's now at least two, you could say 2 employees of Jumbo services. So we will be able to help you with any like AI stuff, or if you need just like WordPress, JavaScript, Node.js, Java, we can help you with that. So there's 3 ways you can contact me. You can use the contact form here on jumbo.com, or you can go to Jumbo services, and obviously you can leave comments, and I can reply to those as well. Okay. So for example, you can run Mistral 7B on Google Colab or Hugging Faces Spaces. You can just choose the right platform. We can help you with that as well, and setting up for basic or advanced AI flow. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's actually get started here, and I'll show you. I'm going to minimize this. We'll come back to NetBeans here for the results. So I have the application, as I told you, it's called Alpaca here. One thing I like about this application, it's very easy once you install. This is for Linux, of course. You can pick the model up here. What I notice is if I have multiple models, it will pick the best model. And I don't like that, because if for example, for this tutorial, I only want to use this model. So I always have to remove the other models. So it's pretty easy. You just click on the menu here. You go to Manage Models. And you can see the Mistral, and down here to tell you it's obviously 7.2. That's a parameter size or perimeter size. And then you can see it's English. I'm not using the voice because all I care about is the text. So if you go to Available, this is where you can get other models, and then you can install them. So as I say, we did reviews of some of these ones. Now we're doing the Mistral, this one here. Okay, now with that said, let's go back. And let's start a chat. So as you guys know, I'm trying to be fair. So what I do is I ask the same questions over and over again. So this way there's no bias. So with that said, let's get started. So I'm going to ask it, who is the mayor of Toronto? I ask it the exact same, so that's I'm pasting there. It's who is the mayor of Toronto? So let's see the answer it's going to give us. So a little background on why I asked this question is because during the lockdown, the mayor of Toronto at that time, he resigned because he was with his alleged mistress. So he resigned. So there was actually no mayor of Toronto. And obviously, time has passed. Toronto does have a mayor now. But one thing I've noticed, I didn't know this. Trust me, I didn't know this. But one thing I've noticed is that most of these AIs, they're kind of stuck in 2023. That's the latest time they had information. So, for example, you see right here, it says, as of my last update, the mayor of Toronto is John Tory. So he was actually the mayor during at that time during the lockdown. and he was elected mayor in 2014, and his term ends in December 2022. However, mayor elections are held every 4 years, so it's best to verify the current information closer to the next election. So this is the current mayor of Toronto is not. It's actually Olivia Chow. So this is actually wrong. But the answer, I would give it maybe some points because it actually says you should verify the current information. So that's a good answer. So as I said, it's so let's move on. So I'm going to delete this chat. Okay. And I'm going to ask it. I'm going to request some PHP code now. So I said I need a PHP code snippet to connect to a MySQL database. So this question is very ambiguous. It's a little bit ambiguous because all I'm asking is to connect to a MySQL database. I'm not asking to perform a query or anything. I just want to connect. So now with that out of the way, the code it's generating right now. Now it's a little bit slow because I'm running OBS. OBS for some reason slows down my AI. I do not understand that. That's a weird. Yeah, it's super weird. I think when I upgrade my system, I might have multiple computers where I'm running, for example, something like this on that one, and OBS on a. Actually, no, I can't. I'm wondering how. I wonder how that'll work because that'll be through the network. I'll figure it out. Or maybe I'll get a wired connection so it will be like a different screen. Okay, so just by looking at this code, the code actually looks pretty good. I don't see it has the correct syntax for PHP. I closed off the PHP syntax, which is really not necessary, but that's fine. That's actually good. And then it says you should replace your username, your password, and your database with the appropriate values. That's actually very good, especially if you're a beginner and you're confused. And it says additionally, you may need to adjust the server name. Server name is usually just the host name. This example only checks if a connection can be established and outputs a message, which is perfectly fine because I said it does answer my question. And say to perform queries, you want to explore further by learning about prepared statements. So I don't need that part, but this is a very, very good answer. So what I'm going to do is, okay, it finished. And I do like the fact that I guess it's using Markdown. And you see it put it in a nice, it's nicely formatted. And you can tell it's 15 lines. So what I do here, I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to click here to copy this. And we're going to head over to NetBeans here. Now, I created a folder specifically for this tutorial. And you can see here because I ran this before. So I created all these files. So what I did is, it sort of show you guys on the command line. What I did is I just grabbed this folder and I dumped it here into NetBeans. So that way we can view everything in NetBeans instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this PHP file and I'm going to delete whatever is in here. Paste this one I've just copied. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see what's going on. So the server name, it is localhost. The username is actually GAI, and the password, whatever the password is for that database, and the database is GAI for generative AI. So before we run this, I'm going to save this. Before we run this, I'm going to go here and I'm going to see if I can load up phpMyAdmin just to show you that. Okay, so yeah, that's a problem with running a privacy-based web browser. So I need to try it in Chromium here. That's fine here. So just say localhost and phpMyAdmin. Okay, so phpMyAdmin here. Let me full screen here. Type in the password. Okay, so I've typed in the password. So it's able to connect to this database. So this database has two tables, people and post. We don't care about that. We just want to make sure we can connect to it. So I just want to show you that. I'm going to log out of here. What is going on? Why can't I log out? That is weird. Not able to log out. Okay, there we go. So I don't need this anymore. So let's go back to NetBeans. This is NetBeans here. So I'm going to run this. In NetBeans, you click run, and then it's not a project. I just want to run a file. So you can use the menu run and run file, or just type Shift F6, at least on Linux. I think it should be the same on all of them. Just check your NetBeans version. I'm using NetBeans 25. So then I press OK. And you see it says connected successfully. So that means that this code, you see, it didn't fail. It actually connected successfully. If it failed, it would have died and typed connection failed. So this code is a pass. Okay. It answered my question and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this. Delete this chat and ask it the next one, where I'm going to request a screenshot of the GNOME desktop. Okay, so I said I need a 1080p screenshot of the GNOME desktop environment. I'm running Fedora Linux and I'm using the GNOME desktop environment. So, the purpose of this question is I wanted to know if the AI knows that the GNOME desktop environment is Linux. I think in the past you were able to install it on others like Windows and Mac OS, and I know you can still install it on some BSDs. So the real reason I asked that question was I wanted to know that, to understand that if it knew what a desktop environment is, and obviously I know that it's text-based, so it's not able to produce the screenshot. Now, some other AIs, they actually they pointed to some broken links, so that was a fail. So as you can see, I just see what type of answers it will give. So this one, I'll read out the answer to you. I'm not able to zoom in in this chat area, but I'll read up the answer so far. It says, I am unable to generate an actual screenshot, but I can guide you on how to take one yourself with standard Linux tools. Here are the steps. Open the GNOME desktop environment on your Ubuntu or other Linux distribution that uses GNOME. So that's a very good answer, because a lot of, if you Google, they would assume that Ubuntu is Linux. No, there are other, obviously, distros. So then 2, it says to capture a screenshot, press the Control Print Screen, or the print screen key, or the Super plus Shift R. This will save the current window as a PNG file on your desktop. So I have the print screen key, and that does what I want. Then number 3, it says if you want to take a shot of the entire screen, use Control Alt Print Screen instead. It saves the whole desktop in a file on the home folder with the name org.gnome screenshot, and then it puts the date timestamp .png, where PPPP is the process ID of the screenshot tool, and obviously the timestamp is the capture time. If you prefer to use a terminal command, open the terminal, and then type sh. Okay. Okay. And then, ooh, I'm actually impressed here. I didn't see this before. So, oh, wow, interesting. Okay, I'll tell you what just happened. So it looked like it also creates a code snippet where you can simply press run, and then it will be able to take this. Oh my goodness. This might actually change my mind. Wow. And it says replace -w with -i or -r or -a to capture a specific window, an area, or the entire screen respectively. After taking the screenshot, you will have your 1080p GNOME desktop screenshot saved on your desktop. If necessary, you can use an image editing tool like GIMP or other software or preference to resize it to fit the 1080p resolution. Okay, so I'm going to change my mind. I was going to give this answer, I was going to give it a partial pass, but I think now this is very, very close to passing, and I'll explain why. Even though the screenshot script it provided failed, that's because this is running in a Flatpak, and it assumed it's running obviously just installed. So that man, I don't know what I don't know what to give it. It's very, very close to getting a pass, but because it's in a Flatpak and it did not realize it's in a Flatpak, I don't want to fail it, but it's like it's like a 0. Out of 100%, it's obviously a 95, maybe even a 99, but it it's yeah. Okay, let's move on because I'm gonna I don't know what it's very close. Okay, so this next I'm going to ask for some Kotlin code snippet. Okay, so while it's generating the answer, I'm going to close NetBeans here because NetBeans is a little bit of a resource hog. So what I'm going to do is, if it gives the same answer I did when I first tested it, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab that code separately and put it in. Oh, I shouldn't have closed NetBeans. So yeah, I remember now. Okay, I'll open up NetBeans. Actually, you know what? Let's see what answer it gives us first. It might give a different answer. Okay, so this is really, really impressive. Because if you guys have seen the previous tutorials, especially the last two tutorials in AI, I think all of them failed really spectacularly, and they were like bigger models. This is a small model. It's very nimble, and it's a little bit slow today, I said, because every time I run OBS to make this live stream, it always, I don't know why, it just slows. I think it's because OBS takes over the GPU, so then it uses all the GPU VRAM. For you guys who don't understand what VRAM is, that's the memory or the RAM, the video RAM or the video memory. So there's little left over. I will. I'm torn about what to do if I replace my workstation, because obviously I need a big, powerful GPU, but at the same time it's going to be taking a lot of resources. So looks like I might have to get those solar panels up so I can use some of that to, get some of that electricity going. This AI stuff, just a word of caution. If you run AI stuff locally, it will use a lot of power. I've noticed that. Let's see, we're in spring, late spring, and during winter I actually use less electricity than I am right now, and I switched off the heater in April, so it's been over the heater has been off for over 2 months, and I haven't switched on the air conditioner yet, but I'm using more electricity, which is crazy. So the only reason I'm using more is because of all this AI stuff. Okay, so I'll read what it has so far. It says to create an Android app. Let me read what my request was. So my request was I need a Kotlin code snippet to open the camera using Camera 2 API and place the camera view on a texture view. So I have done this multiple times. I actually created this code snippet and lots of video, at least 3 or 4 videos I made it in Java. I made it in Kotlin using the Camera 2 API for the chicken webcam application. So, and then the answer it gave is to create an Android application in Kotlin that uses the Camera 2 API to capture images and display them on a texture view. You can follow these steps. 1, it says make sure you have added the necessary permissions in the Android manifest file. Oh, wow. I'm blown away. This is actually a better answer than the one it gave before. Because before, it never actually, when I ran this, it didn't actually give the permissions. So we might actually get perfect code today. And this could be actually the first time that we actually get code from an AI that actually works. I'm actually I'll be shocked. And then it says add the required dependencies to your app level build Gradle. I normally don't need to do that. So this, you can tell that this code is obviously, the code is generating is a little bit old, because these days, if you do use Android Studio, or I guess this, okay, so I take that back. I guess one thing I do like about the code that is generating is that it's not assuming that you're using Android Studio. So meaning that you can just, you don't have to, if you develop Android applications, you don't have to use Android Studio. You can use any ID you want, or even the command line just to compile. So I take that back. So that's good that it's providing the dependencies, because you have to add them yourself manually if you're not using Android Studio, or an IDE that does it for you. And then it has, it says, create a texture view in your layer XML file. Then it gives an example. So one of the problems I had with the examples that it gave, and here, it's the exact same problem, is that the answer it gives is an answer where it expects you to know what you're doing. So for example, it doesn't give the entire layout. So that's a problem, because obviously it lets you choose whatever layer you want. What I'm saying is, the problem is, if I was a beginner, I would be very confused, because if I do that, it's not going to work. You do need a layer. You have to pick a layer. Now, if I was using Android Studio and it says, hey, pick the default one, that would be perfectly fine. I could just use the default one, but it doesn't explain that. Even the manifest, it just says add manifest. So it's assuming that you have a background in programming the Android application. Now, to be fair, if I look at my question, my request was, I need a Kotlin code snippet to open the camera. So technically, the answer to my question is not about the permissions, the dependencies, the XML file. It's just Kotlin code, which I want. So another thing I like about this, you see, anytime you ask it for code, it does syntax highlighted and put it as its own little section. So let's review this code and see if it actually would work. Now, as I said before, this is a way better answer than the one I gave before. It actually says the permissions you need. So, and it tells you where to put them. It says put them in the Android manifest.xml file. Then it says add this to your build Gradle file. And then it says the texture view, add this to your activity main. And then it has the code snippet here. Now, it has code that looks very, very good. I think this actually does work. I'm actually tempted to actually try this code. Don't forget to start the activity in your main activity or any other launcher. You know what? I am really, really curious to start this. It looks very good. So you know what? Let's actually try it. Let me see how much time we have. I'm going to try this. So I'm opening up Android Studio. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. Things are actually improving. Usually it's a pain here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new project. Now we're going to use the empty activity here. And I think this, I'm not sure if it's a basic empty activity. Yeah, empty activities. Instead of Java, we're going to use Kotlin. And this one, I'm going to call it camera view. Camera view. Looks like I have to buy a new keyboard. My favorite keyboard is no longer being made. And okay, so it's opening up in another screen. As you know, Android Studio does take a little while. I'll show this to you. So it does take a little while to build all this stuff. Yeah, as you can see down here. So we'll wait for this to finish up. And I'll just copy and paste the code and see if it actually does work. I'll be impressed if it actually does. because this could be a game changer. This could be a game changer. I might actually, even though it's a little bit big, I might actually use this for, I could actually train this one for a tutorial down the line. What I might do if I train it is maybe use SQLite, and then that way I can simply maybe put it somewhere like on GitHub or something, and other people can benefit from it as well. Okay, so it's still importing the Gradle project here. This has nothing to do with OBS. I can't blame OBS for this. Android Studio just takes its sweet time to do things like this when it's building. Okay, so let me see if I can split the screen. Be nice. There we go. We can split the screen. Oops, not this one. The one we want is this one. Okay, just want to split the screen. Oh, it looks like it's done. I'll split the screen that way I can copy and copy. Here we go. Put it on the left. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Now for this application, there's a little bit of a glare. Let me close the window here. Draw some drapes so the glare is not so terrible. Okay, here we go. So let's go to the manifest. And here's the manifest file. So we're going to copy just copy this permissions and paste them in there. Okay, so then save this. So perfect. Then it says your dependencies at app level. So the Gradle scripts are all here. So you see there's two of them. One of they're both called the same name. So the first one says project camera underscore view. The second one is the model, the module. Sorry. So you tell which one it is. You see this one, it says plugins. So clearly it's not this one for the project. It's the one for the module. So this one here, this is the one. And yeah, can you see under dependencies, this one is already there. I don't care about the material. Yeah, it already pick it up here. And it's using the constraint. That's already there. And I don't need to add the camera core and all this stuff, the life cycle, because those will be picked up automatically when you actually build it. But we'll come back to it if we need to. We shouldn't need to add it manually. These days, with the latest versions of Android Studio, it should automatically add them for you. And we'll come back to check on that. If not, we will just add them here. And this one, some of this stuff is actually old, so we'll let it add it for us. Okay, so next, let's go to our layout. There should be a layout. Yeah, here we go. Activity main. So I want the code, and it's using the constraint widget. I'm just going to leave that as is. So it has a text view. I'm not going to use a text view, so I'm going to remove that. And then what I'll do is I'll add this one, the texture view. So I'll just here to copy it and paste it in there and save that. Make sure I saved the manifest as well. So I've saved the activity main, and so we're good. Now let's go and actually start looking at the code here. So we can create a class called camera activity. And so it says, don't forget to start the camera activity, main activity, any activity. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new class and dump this code in there. I wish it is, yeah, oh, it actually does say it. Sorry, I apologize for that. I didn't even hear that. So number 4, it says, I'll read number 3. I might have forgotten to read number 3. It says, number 3, create a texture view in your layout XML file, for example, activity underscore main.xml. There's already one there, so we just added the texture view in there. Number 4, now create a new Kotlin class to handle the camera 2 API. So let's do that. So in our app here, you say Kotlin plus Java. We go in there, and we pick, let me actually expand this so you guys can see. So you know which one to pick. You know, you're not picking test, you're not picking Android test, you're picking this one here. And you see this main activity. So we'll just right click on this one here, you go to new, and then Kotlin class. And it's asking for a name. So I'm just going to call it camera activity. Camera activity. I hope I spelled that right. Activity, yes. So you see it created a package for us, and then the camera activity. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this script here and then just replace that with the other one. Now, as you can see, there are some things it does want. So we'll come back to this because some of this might be passed in. So let's go to our main activity here. Now, for our main activity, this is all we need here. So if you look at the import, we probably don't need everything here in the import, but I'll just leave that. It's actually very, very small. So we copy this, and it should be create override fun. Yeah, so here we go. And activity main. Yeah, so basically it's almost the same. So there we go. Make sure there's no errors here. Intent. So we need to import the intent. So if you just put your mouse over, you see it says import class. So let's import that class. And there we go. So there's no errors here. This is perfect. So intents are where you can actually grab other classes. So there's no errors here. Let's go back to our camera. We actually don't need this anymore. So I think we can, yeah. So remember, we copied everything except for the Gradle dependency. So let's maximize this. And then, where is this here? Okay, there we go. I'll zoom in here so you guys can see. How do I zoom in again? Oh, control. Okay, it's a control key. So this is the main activity class. Go to our camera class. You can see this. It has a bunch of things that we do need to import. So for example, this app activity, we import that one. And then we import the life cycle owner. So because we're able to import them, it will automatically build our Gradle for us later. I think even, yeah, anything it will need, it would import it here for us. So we don't need to add it manually if you're using Android Studio like I am. So this one wants the texture view. So you can see you can import the class texture view. And this one context compact, import that one as well. And then the bundle, we import the Android OS bundle. And this one, process camera. You see it says add a dependency. So we can add dependency and import. So it's gonna, you see here, it's gonna automatically add it to our Gradle file, and I'll show you that to you in a second when it's finished. Yeah, it's a little bit slow there. So that should take care of that. So if we go to our Gradle file, it should add it here. Yes, you see this, the life cycle. You see it added the life cycle for us. Okay, and then whatever it needs, it will add it by itself. So, oh, there we go. So it added all the other surface. I think that's the last one. There we go. Yeah. So there's no more errors or anything. And let's go back to the Gradle. Yeah. So there we go. So that's why I say you don't need to add them manually. It will add them whatever it needs for you. I am now super curious. This could be the first. Oh, there's other stuff here like what is preview, import class preview, surface provider, import the class, image capture, whatever that is, and image selector, import image selector, surface provider. This one is a problem. It can't find that one. And log, import class log. And that so it's missing some things here. Yeah, so you see it's missing some things. So I'm not gonna bother continuing because yeah, so there's a whole bunch of stuff you need to create some variables. So I'm going to unfortunately close but not cigar. So this is a fail. And I gave it a good go. If you want to continue doing this type of stuff, yeah, that's just not going to work. So a little bit unfortunate. So that's why I say it's not smart enough. Close, but no cigar. So that's a fail. Yeah, because I can really tell. So it got better, but it's a fail, right? So what I'm saying is that, uh, like you see, this one is unresolved reference, because the reason it's unresolved is because it's either missing some code or missing some variables, and yeah, some of them could be probably available in probably a different Java class, possible, but this is a fail. So I'm not going to bother anymore here. I'm just going to quit this. So we'll go here and just go to where's close project, and then of course I'm going to remove it from here because this is a fail, as I said. So I'll just remove the remove from recent projects, and we're done. So I can close Android Studio here. Let's see, run. So just go and click the X here to close it. All right, so that's a fail. I don't even bother to continue here. Yeah, just delete that. Okay, so the last thing we're going to ask this AI is I'm going to ask it for a blend file for a cube fire animation. Oh, sorry, a fire animation. So the request is, I need a Blender blend file for fire animation. Let's see what it says. So if you don't know what Blender is a 3D modeling tool, but it comes with other things. Obviously, you can do some 2D with the grease pencil. You can also do some video editing using the video sequence editor. There's compositing, compositing, not composting, compositing, and other things. And for example, I create a book called Blender Python API, meaning that you can create simple 3D models, 3D text. You can edit your videos, add things to your video line, scenes, just using Python. And I have a chapter in there, 2 chapters actually, dedicated to using the video sequence editor, and then a lot of code snippets to animate and generate your own 3D images, all using Python. So you don't even need to open up Blender. You obviously need to have Blender and Python, and so the book is available on Amazon. It's called Mastering Blender Python API, and just search for Eduardo Jumbo, and the links are also on the article or in my bio. I just click there and you'll be able to go to the website, and hopefully you guys like the book. Okay, so here, so for my request, which was I need a Blender blend file for the fire animation, it says, I'm glad to help you get started on your fire animation project in Blender. However, I cannot directly provide a blend file, as it involves creating original content, and sharing files here might infringe on copyright or breach community guidelines. Instead, I'll guide you through the process of creating a basic fire animation using Blender's built-in tools. Install Blender. I already have Blender. If you don't have it, download and install the latest version of Blender from blender.org/download. That's number 1. Number 2, start Blender, open the software and switch to the Cycles render engine to create more realistic fire effects. Press Shift 8 on your keyboard to access the render settings. Select Cycles render. So we're going to try this when it finishes. Actually, let's try it now. So if it fails anywhere, I'll consider that a fail. So I'm going to split the screen here, and I'm going to open up Blender. This is going to be fun, especially the Cycles engine. So this entire live stream could actually crash because Cycle engine is going to be super slow. So I can tell this is pretty old because it doesn't use the EV, but let's do it. So I've opened up Blender. So there's a few problems here, but that's fine. So as you can see, I'm using Blender. You should tell the version. Yeah, it's up here. So it's 4.4.3. So that's pretty recent, and I should really delete the default cube. But hey, I'm just going to follow these instructions. So it says switch to the cycles render. You can see by default, it's actually using the EV renderer, but it's saying to switch it, what you do is you go to, what is it here? Press Shift and number 8 on your keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to press Shift and the number 8. Nothing happened. So let's see what actually happened here. So let's see what render. Oh, it's still EV. One more time. Hold down Shift and press the 8 key. Nothing happened. Wow. That's clearly a fail. But you know what? Let's just change it here. So render engine, we're going to change it to cycles. Okay? It's using the CPU. So I can change it to GPU, but that's probably not a good idea. Okay, so we've changed it. Okay, then it says to create a fire a cone, go to press Shift A, then mesh clone. Okay, it didn't tell me to delete the default cube for some reason. Okay, so what I'll do is I press Shift A. Okay, that actually worked. Then it says go to mesh and then cone. Is there a cone here? Yeah, there's a cone. Okay, there we go. So I have the cone. Then it says scale it and move it around the position and adjust the segments to a more organic shape. You know what? Here, I'll just move it around. G to grab. Woo! There we go. I moved it. I'm happy with it. Okay. Now, it says create. What is it here? That was number 3 where it said create a fire cone. So number 4, it says add material. Select the cone. It's already selected. Then go to properties panel on the right side. This one here. It says click on the plus in the material slot and add a new material. Okay, let's do that. So this is the material. So the last one here is the material properties in the right plane, and you click new. And then you see there's a material here. So by default, it's a base color. It's using the principled BSD shader. Okay, so, and it says name it fire. Okay, so by default, it's called material.001. So we're going to change it to fire. Okay, you see it's fire. Perfect. Number 5, it says configure the fire material in the shader editor. Press N to toggle the properties window. Set up a mix shader node for the 2 principled BSD nodes. Okay, so that was a lot of stuff. Let's switch to the what is it called? The shader editor. So the shader editor is where is the shader editor? This is I might have to go to full screen first. Do we have a shader editor? I think what they mean is the shading. I think they mean the shading tab. I'm not able to click it for some reason. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit slow, so let me wait. That's why I said I don't want to use the cycles engine. Okay, so there we go. Now, it's if you're using a later version of Blender, it's the shading tab. Okay, back to number 5. It says then press N to bring up the properties. So let's pick N here. The node, and then it says, what did it say? Toggle, set up a mix. What in the world? Okay. That doesn't make any sense. I'll get rid of that node. Toggle to properly set up a mix for 2 principal. Okay. I'll just add another node, and I'm going to add another node for principled. Where is the principled? Principled, so he wants 2 of them. So I'll put it here. Then, is it Shift A, by the way? Yeah, Shift A. So I want a mix. Or is it mixer? Oh, it's mix node. Okay, mix. So there's a converter here. So there's a mix shader. it doesn't specify. Oh, it set up a mix shader. Okay, so mix shader. So that's the one. So here's a mix shader, and then what it says? It says connect the mix node FAC to a color ramp. Wow. Okay, so Shift A, color ramp. Okay. Okay. Here we go. So it's saying that connect the mix shader FA FAC to the input of the to the FAC input of the color ramp. Okay, so this one here, it's saying connected to there. That doesn't make any sense. This one to that one. It doesn't work because these are all inputs. Right? Am I crazy? It says connect the mix node's FA input to a color ramp. I sure it's not output? That doesn't make any sense. One more time. FAC to the color ramp. Yeah, it's just that doesn't work. So this is wrong. This is a complete fail. This is a complete fail. Because this you can't put input to input. It has to be input to output. So for example, I can take this and put it here. You see that? I can do that. And I can take this guy's color or alpha, I can put it into here. Just like I can take these two and then mix them together. So that's a fail. So that's a fail. Okay, so and then it says create a fire texture to simulate the fire. You can also bring attached image below. What attached image? So it copied this from the internet somewhere, and yeah, so this this is a complete fail. I shouldn't have bothered coming up with Blender. I should have read it more. Anyway, so I'm not going to bother reading more because it's a fail. I don't want to waste you guys' time. So there you go. It actually gave a much better answer before. It gave me actually a Python code for the animation, and that one obviously none of them work. Okay, so I'm just going to close this and finish this up. So let's look at the actual results from when I ran it the first time. Mayor of Toronto, it was outdated, it was wrong. It's Olivia Chow even today. The PHP script was actually correct syntax and actually was able to connect to the MySQL database, as we saw. That's correct. When I asked it for the 1080p screenshot, it provided an elaborate answer to generate the 1080p screenshot of the GNOME desktop. So this one, I'm going to give it a pass. So far it's 2 out of 3. The Kotlin code was incomplete. So it's not bad, probably the best and the smallest code snippet ever. But it still didn't do the key part. Like, forget about the manifest and everything. The code doesn't work. It's missing. It's incomplete. So that's a fail. So now we are 2 out of 4. And then finally, the Blender blend file. What it gave me before to produce a file image, but not a Blender file because of text-based AI. So I did just said I can't produce it. I would have passed it, but because it gave me the wrong answer, and obviously it's incomplete, so I'll be fair and I'll say 2.5. So it got a 2.5 out of 5, so that is pretty good. And I said I would like to train this, maybe this version or a later version, so we'll do that in a future tutorial. And again, if you want some local AI, say on your server or even locally, and you want to have a custom application for it, what I mean by to access it, let me know and I can help set you up with that. One more time, this is the contact stuff. There's a contact form here, or you can go to a Jumbo Services. As I said, there are 2 employees now, myself and somebody else, so we will be able to assist you with that. And also, if quick reminder that every day I do a live stream You visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, then lifestyle menu, you can see the topics for the current and future post-dated live streams, and the day and time they're going to be on, and the what channel where you can join for chat requests. Also, be sure to subscribe. That helps me a lot. Like, comment. That's also very helpful. And yeah, for helps me know that you guys appreciate this and I can produce more frequent content. Okay, so I don't see any chat requests today, so I'm gonna stop this and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks. See you.